Hi, my name is Alexandria, and today I will be talking about my mini reading intervention lesson titled The Life of a Butterfly Reading Activity. So for my grade that I will be teaching or working in a small group with will be 4th grade, and we will be working with a passage titled Life of a Butterfly. And through my activity, students will be able to strengthen their fluency and comprehension skills through reading a provided passage. This includes identifying the main idea, summarizing and recalling important information, and students will also practice comprehension skills by answering a few comprehension questions at the end. We'll also work on a little bit of vocabulary work through this activity. So some of the materials I will need is my printout of Life of a Butterfly, and then I will also need color pencils, an orange, a red, and a blue, and that's pretty much all I'll need. There's an additional piece of material that is optional, but I would also include an anchor chart of some sort just so the students have that additional layer of support. I like to include that in this type of work. So for my activity, it will take place in the small groups table after the main lesson and students are ready to break out into small groups. Their worksheet will be placed on their table, and the worksheet looks like this. Oops. The worksheet looks like this. Let me scroll up a bit before I show you. Okay, titled Life of a Butterfly. And it looks like this. I got this from Teachers Pay Teachers, but I was able to modify it myself to fit the need of my lesson, which is really awesome. So it just includes a quick informational passage about butterflies, and I will have the students read this. I will kind of go over my instructions after I show you the page a little bit, but this is what it looks like. So for my instructions, or when my students get to their small group, they will come to the table. This page will be set out for them. I will be working with a group of 4 students per rotation in total for the overall day. So 4 students per group. When my students come, this page will be set on their desk along with the color pencils that they will need. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the color pencils and what we'll be doing with those until it comes time, so that they're not so distracted. So these will just be ready for them, but they won't need them quite yet. I will, however, introduce the story, and I will introduce the title of the story and open up a discussion about butterflies, maybe ask them what they know about butterflies already, what they've learned in class. Since this is just a support lesson, they should have already learned something a little bit about this topic, so we'll talk about that. And it'll also get them excited and just set the stage for the activity. Next, I will be letting them know that they will read independently, read the passage, and while they read, if we scroll down a little bit, at the bottom of the page, there is a little bank, which I modified to kind of fit the need of what I wanted to do for this activity. So in red, they are going to underline new words or words that they don't know or are not familiar with. So this will be new vocabulary words to them. Next, in orange, they're going to underline important information or important ideas, not to be confused with the main idea, because we're going to do something different with that. With blue, they are going to underline what they think the main idea is. And for this is where I was talking about the anchor chart. I would also recommend having an anchor chart out. For this, I would use something that kind of looks like this, like the bar stool main idea, just so they can kind of see and recall what they are looking for when they're looking for the main idea, and also just to help them also identify some of what a detail is versus the main idea. So back to the worksheet or handout. They are going to do this independently, and I will be there for support if they need help reading. I might go and ask them to read a little bit out loud just so I can hear one-on-one where they're at. After they have read this, we are going to read it together. So this will be a total of 2 times we have read the passage. It's very brief, so it won't take too long. So we'll read it together, and during the time we're reading it together, I will also inform that they are more than welcome to highlight any additional information they might have missed, or make changes if they feel they might have highlighted something that now they think is not really a detail, but more of heading towards the main idea, or just different things. They're able to make those changes. Maybe they hear it differently when they've read it a second time or heard it a second time. So this just allows them to go back and make some changes. After that, we've read it twice. We're going to go through and talk about what we think the main ideas are, or the main idea is, and what some of those details are. Maybe one student will share a detail just to save on time, since this is a mini lesson. After we've talked about that, we will talk about some of the new vocabulary we've heard. We will define the words that they have underlined. There's some really just cool things about this passage, so I think it's fun for them to think about words they either haven't heard or maybe they did learn in their science lesson when they talked about butterflies or whatever the case is. So we'll do that, and then after that we will move into summarizing. We're going to talk about how we would summarize this. So each student will come up with a sentence summarizing a very small portion of the passage to come together and create kind of a quick summary of the entire story. After that, we will go through, with whatever time we have left, there is a separate sheet of comprehension pages that the student, or comprehension questions that the students will not have. I will have these. So I will go through and decide, okay, maybe we'll only get to 2 questions. That's okay. It's just going to be a group discussion setting, really fun and interactive for them. So I'll ask them a couple of the questions about the story, and we'll see where they're at with their comprehension. And that is it for this activity, which is very nice, and you're able to kind of change and alter however you need it to work for your group. So for the next part, we should talk about accommodations. One of my students has dyslexia, so being that this is a reading activity, it is difficult. Sometimes those words are difficult in general. So I will make sure that during the independent reading time, that student has an ample amount of time. I don't want them to feel rushed or uncomfortable, so that it will be very extra time if necessary, whatever they need. Also, I would include on their specific page maybe a couple more images, just to support their reading. If there's maybe a word they're struggling with, maybe there's a couple more images on the page just so that they're able to refer to. I really do like this because it does come with a lot of images and diagrams and different things that the student is able to utilize to help them through their reading if they are experiencing some challenges. So these are some really great accommodations I could make. And then as well as having that anchor chart available for them to look at. I think that's also very amazing. And finally, why I designed this activity, I just thought it would be really great to include a couple of different elements instead of it just being reading comprehension, to kind of get away from that and also include some vocabulary. And now we're working on maybe some of the main ideas as we get into these older grades, 4th and 5th grade. We are now trying to challenge ourselves even more so and really become comfortable as text becomes greater, and we have just more text to get through, and we need to have these different skill sets in order to succeed. So I really just wanted to make sure to include different layers to this activity. Thank you so much.